there, good morning. 6 o'clock here on this Monday. It is another warm start for the day following a record-breaking scorcher of a weekend right across the province. Vancouver already off to a hot start today. It didn't get much lower than 20 degrees in most places here overnight, but this heat wave stretches right across BC. In fact, about 30 communities across BC broke temperature records yesterday, including Vernon, Kelowna, Kamloops, and even Whistler. Russ LeCate saying, "We're not done with the heat just yet." He'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few moments.
It was what we talked about last week. It was a huge dome of high pressure that moved into place and really covering the western half of North America. It wasn't just hot locally. It was province-wide into BC. There were heat alerts in Alberta, all through Washington and Oregon State.
Well, an air quality advisory remains in effect for eastern parts of Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley. Metro Vancouver says it's due to high concentrations of ground-level ozone. Residents are urged to avoid strenuous outdoor activities during mid-afternoon when ozone levels are highest. Infants, the elderly, and those who have underlying medical conditions are at higher risk from exposure. This advisory is expected to continue until there's a change in the current hot and sunny weather. Well, despite the hot conditions, thousands of people took part in the Scotiabank Half Marathon and 5K race in Vancouver yesterday, raising more than $850,000 for 83 charities. Organizers say the heat did affect run times. Later, clouds and a little bit of rain brought some relief from the heat just in time for the Greek Day Festival in Kitsilano.
Today is definitely a bit more manageable. It's more cool.
It's really nice, especially the sun is not that much out, so it's good.
A landmark case between the city of Abbotsford and its homeless population is set to begin in BC Supreme Court today. The city's homeless are challenging 3 bylaws, which they say have been used to displace them from public spaces. They say the city's actions violate their charter rights. If successful, the lawsuit could affect how other municipalities treat their homeless populations.
This means that other municipalities across Canada will know that there is a minimum standard of conduct and of legislation required to treat our homeless populations with dignity and with respect, and we hope that every city across Canada will follow suit and actually start to properly support the people who most need our assistance.
The man accused of a violent sexual assault in East Vancouver is expected back in court later today. Caleb Heaton is facing 7 charges, including aggravated sexual assault and unlawful confinement. Those charges have come after a woman was tied up and attacked in her very own home in Vancouver's Strathcona neighborhood back in March. Concerns are being raised about the 25-year-old's mental well-being. He could now face a mental fitness hearing. The RCMP and the Ministry of Transportation are now investigating after a serious collision between a tour bus and a tow truck on the Coquihalla Highway. It happened on Saturday near the Larson Hill exit. Police say the bus rear-ended a tow truck that was servicing a car which had struck a deer, and charges could be laid against the driver. 37 people were taken to hospital, including the tour guide who was ejected from the bus. 2 people remain in hospital this morning. The Ministry of Transportation says Universal Coach Lines will undergo a safety audit. The crash closed the highway for 9 hours. We will soon find out if we have to pay a 0.5% more in the provincial sales tax for transit improvements. Elections BC is expected to release the results of the transit plebiscite this week or next, and the count could be close. Both the yes and no sides say they did a good job in getting their campaigns out. The proposed hike in the PST would pay for $7.5 billion worth of transit system upgrades. Firefighters were busy in Abbotsford dealing with a huge barn fire over the weekend. The fire broke out early Sunday morning in the barn on Tolmian No. 2 Road. At the time, there were hundreds of cattle inside. Quick action helped save almost all of the cattle and dairy cows and stop nearby brush fires from spreading.
With the moving of the cattle and stuff, the community came together, and there was probably in excess of 40 to 50 locals with their trucks and stuff coming to help move animals.
It's not known what caused the fire, but investigators say it does not appear to be suspicious. The Greek government is taking drastic action as the country's financial crisis deepens. Banks and ATMs right across the country have been ordered to shut down until Tuesday of next week. When they reopen, Greeks will face a withdrawal limit of $81 or 60 euros a day. Analysts say it appears Greece will not make a $2.1 billion loan payment to the International Monetary Fund by tomorrow's deadline. That raises the possibility Greece might leave the group of 19 countries using the euro as their currency. British Prime Minister David Cameron is pledging a long-term response to terror in the wake of Friday's attack in Tunisia. 18 Britons are confirmed dead, but officials say the number could rise as high as 30. That would make it the worst terror attack on UK citizens since the 2005 bombings on the London Underground. 38 people were killed during Friday's attack. There's relief for residents of upstate New York after police captured the second of 2 convicted killers who escaped from prison 23 days ago. David Sweat was shot and injured yesterday by a police officer less than 3 kilometers south of New York's border with Quebec. Sweat is listed in critical condition. Fellow escapee Richard Matt was shot and killed